talking kind of didn't. I was really kind of immersed, engaged in just the world around me, and trying to focus on that and not the choice of battles. So a lot of different things kind of rolling through my mind right now. One, my recording yesterday and how good I felt yesterday. And two,
the incoming call from Boardwalk Mobile. Press Uconnect phone button to answer.
Hello.
Hey, Stetson View, new management?
Yeah.
She said 3:15. Can you still make that today or no?
Yeah, I have it on my schedule.
Okay. She just responded.
Yeah.
I'll let her know then you'll see her there at that time.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Phone call completed.
So, yesterday riding this kind of euphoric high and trying to understand why and how it came about, because one, I really liked it, and two, I'd like to live in that state more often. So how do I achieve that state? Because it was really by nothing that I had consciously chosen to do. It was just, it seemed to be inadvertent. I don't know where it came about, how it came about. And it's trying to understand those ups and downs to kind of, again, manipulate my reality to have a better existence. But I was really trying to still live in that mindset. So yesterday was a full moon. I mentioned that. And on a clear night, it's one of those things that's just, to me, it's breathtaking. It's one of the things that this reality, one of those simple little things that we take for granted every day that has a tremendous amount of impact. And regardless of what you believe in as far as lunar effects, planetary effects with rotations and cycles, I mean, there's documented physical evidence that it has effects on this reality. Take it or leave it. It doesn't matter to me what you believe in. But a bright full moon on a clear night, and how it kind of illuminates the darkness in a way that isn't what you get to experience most other nights of the year is it's a once a month thing. And again, you have to have, the weather has to cooperate. You have to have a cloud-free sky to really get the most of it. And last night was one of those nights, and I made a point before bed to go outside and just stand there and really take the time to appreciate that and embrace that beauty, that aspect of this reality. I'm like all over the place here. I'm scouting out potential restaurant sites still, and just happened to catch my eye there. Not paying attention and turned on the wrong street, and still trying to talk about beauty. So, my focus is scattered right now. But I'm back on track. Quick turnaround and boom. Back on the path that I need to be on and continuing on to my destination. So, just a very powerful event for me last night. It wasn't, hours of sitting outside staring at the moon. It was 2-3 minutes to go outside and just really appreciate that. And then it didn't even really hit me till this morning that how many times in my life that I have done that? How many times in my life have I taken advantage of opportunities like that I was aware of it? And usually if I'm aware, all right, tonight's a full moon, I know it's clear, I want to go out and see it, I'll do it. We very rarely go out after dark anymore. Now, it's sad to me to even say that, but so it used to be if I was just out driving around, like, wow, what a cool moon, and then you really kind of get a chance to do it. But since our routines have changed and our work daytime hours, Monday through Friday, we don't really go out on the weekends. Every once in a while, maybe. But so the chance of just catching it without paying much attention or putting much effort or thought into it are more rare. So, and I started thinking this morning as I got up and wasn't sure where the day was going to go, and we had some circumstances at work which my day ended up closing out on, and I was like, all right, I'm in this state of mind, I'm in this peaceful existence right now that I'm really enjoying and I'm really trying to get the most of. And a circumstance came up, and it's property management stuff. It's just the kind of thing that you will occasionally get, but it's one of the more extreme examples. You got somebody that feels like they were wronged and threatening litigation and fraud and misconduct and all that other kind of bullshit that people create in their mind. And I talked about this a little bit, I don't know, Monday in last week, people creating these circumstances and then feeling like they need to act on them. But that's not the point of this conversation. The thing is, it was one of those circumstances, and I know what's right, I know what's wrong, I know what the circumstances of the situation is, I know what the laws are, I know what we did, I know that we're compliant, and so having to deal with these accusations, it's troublesome. It bothers me, and I have a tendency to overreact to, and I overreacted a little bit, but it was much more mild than my capacity to overreact. It was, my overreaction was, I don't care, do whatever. And but I'm still obligated through my own personal code of ethics and work ethic to follow up on it and do what needs to be done, even though it's a huge waste of time and it's kind of a nuisance, kind of a complaint. It still needs to be addressed. It still needs to be reviewed. And as much as I didn't want to do it, I did it anyway. And but I didn't do it yesterday. I left and said, you know what, I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm not going to get pissed off about it, even though I was getting pissed off about it. I was letting it disrupt my harmonious vibe from yesterday and affect my peaceful being. But I didn't allow it to snowball. I didn't allow it to go to those levels that I would normally let it go, where my temper would take me to a certain. And again, it's taking a stance on principle. It's getting angry about the principle of it, because this doesn't personally affect me. None of it does. It's, again, the idea, the concept, the principle behind it that is being violated. You've got somebody that wants something that they don't deserve, and they're making an argument that is an accusation of wrongdoing, and this gross negligence, which is not the case. But you still have to, one, either defend yourself, two, agree to it, or you need to find something somewhere. It has to be addressed. You just can't ignore it. And the fact that you can't ignore it, and the fact that it's, again, very unfounded, it was getting to me. But I tried to latch on to that state of mind that I had been in all day, that had been escalating over the previous few days, and stay in that state and allow this to kind of deflect off of me. And to a certain extent, I was successful. I definitely, from the time that it was, time to lock up the office and go home, I definitely was not feeling as at peace as I had been a couple hours before this. And I tried not to dwell on my anger. I tried not to think about it as my fight, which was difficult for me because that's just part of who I am. And I was able to go home. I was able to do a few things around the house. I started to process some videos. I had a two-parter from Tuesday that to me was very powerful. It was something that I really, once it was done, I was like, that's moving, that's powerful, that's something that I felt completely connected to. And then I had the two from yesterday, which was documenting this upswing, and again, very important. So I wanted to get those processed, get them off the camera, get them stored away, and possibly get them posted, and started working on that. I had some plants that had to be watered, so I worked on that. I had an idea of what we were going to be making for dinner, that I had pulled some stuff out of the freezer at lunch and had a game plan for that, so I didn't have to spend too much time thinking about it, but at some point I knew I was going to have to start prepping and getting ready for that. But I was really pleased with myself in not allowing it to affect me to the extent that I would normally allow that to happen. And even more so this morning on how I kind of rebounded, because I basically come to a conclusion at some point yesterday or last night that I was gonna keep myself disconnected from this situation and just address it in a purely academic, administrative type of a way. No personal feeling attached to it at all. And I made that decision, and I really didn't have to do much tweaking to my own perceptions to get past it bothering me. So I felt pretty good about it. And I woke up this morning and I was feeling like, all right, I feel good. I surprisingly have not been noticing the differences between my work weeks, my work days, and my weekends, which I've talked about in the past. Again, perception perspective of the separation between who I am as a person, as my work self, and my non-work self, and how I don't like my work self and I like my non-work self, and I'm always looking forward to those non-work periods. And you end up spending a good chunk of your life wishing and waiting for certain periods to be over and anticipating the coming of the next period, the difference between your work week and your weekend, and then even part of your weekend dreading having to get back to you. And I've really noticed almost no fluctuation there anymore, which I like. I really do like that. It really hit me this morning. I'm like, it's Friday, and I don't feel that, it's Friday excitement. I don't feel like tomorrow's Saturday. I can sleep in if I want to. I have the freedom to do whatever I want. Over the last couple of days, and this is what really got me yesterday, was I was really kind of feeling this sense of freedom. I really embracing that and appreciating that. And in that process, I've also been appreciating the beauty of the things around me, which has enhanced it. It's just made that feeling of kind of euphoric existence yesterday. It's what kind of helped bring that about. And again, I was really straining to understand how did I reach that point, and how can I, repeat that. And on top of that, I got a very difficult situation, which happens to do with this house we're sitting outside of now, because I have to go do a quick walkthrough and assess some of the things that were complained about, but I'm not going to really get into that right now. But being able to maintain that through adversity yesterday, and it all kind of, just within the last couple of hours, is just kind of meshed together into this kind of comprehensive understanding of the dynamics that I go through on a daily basis, and we all do, and how they have an effect, and we choose which effect that they have. But again, it's for me, it's feeling this connection to the world around me. Number one, that's the first thing. And there's times that I feel disconnected from that, and I don't feel like I have any control over that. I feel like that there's parts of this cycle that there's heavily connected and heavily disconnected. So again, not the point, but I woke up this morning and I didn't feel dread that I had to go to work and deal with this today. I felt pretty comfortable with the conclusions I'd come to in my mind as far as approach, and I felt very good about myself about not letting it disrupt my whole night last night and knock me completely out of kilter, out of whack from where I had been yesterday afternoon. And got up and started doing my stuff, and I just kept in my mind, I'm going to keep this positivity going. I'm going to keep this anxiety-free, tension-free, anger-free kind of state of mind right now for as long as I can. And it was getting brighter outside, and I was really noticing the details of the natural surrounding settings that are, surround our home, and took care of my normal routine, took care of my showering, got myself ready, got in the car, and was driving to work, and just completely blown away by the sunrise. And at this point in the year, on daylight savings time, when we get up for work, we're getting up and it's dark, and this will all change in a few weeks when we change daylight savings time. But I always liked this period of the year because the sun is just rising just before we leave for work. So as we're driving to work west on the road that we drive to, the sunrise is always in the rearview mirror. But as we're coming out of our neighborhood, it's right there to our, you have to look that way to see if traffic's coming in. It really blows my mind that the beauty of a sunrise, the beauty of a sunset. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just taking the time to appreciate those moments. And I started having flashbacks of the cruises and how much I make it a point when we're on vacation, especially when we're on a cruise, to see the sunset every night, to actually watch it set, go down, disappear into the water line and the horizon, and the colors that are associated with that, and how many pictures I take of that, which don't do it any justice. And how I talk about it every once in a while, but it's one of those things that I strive to do in my everyday life, is take the time to appreciate those moments when I can. So coming out of our neighborhood this morning and looking at the traffic coming so I could merge out onto the frontage road, I'm staring right at the sunrise, and it was breathtaking. And flashing back into last night and taking the time to go stand out in the driveway for a couple of minutes and appreciating the full moon. It does something to me inside that allows me to continue to remove the petty, insignificant bullshit that we deal with on a daily basis, and having to deal with this home and this person and these claims of fraud and just outright misconduct. They don't matter. And it really hit me heavy last night, or with a really firm understanding and belief that these things are irrelevant. And again, there's circumstances that are playing into that. We just had one of the largest mass shootings in our country's history, and 59 people, 58, I don't remember what the last count was, lost their lives in an event that was, a celebration of life, embracing what they enjoyed, and just boom, and it was over. And I'm thinking about this, and I was sitting there last night on the couch, this was just before I went to bed, and I was thinking about this circumstance and how I would normally get so worked up about this, and it would disrupt me and my life for days, sometimes weeks. And I'm thinking, nobody died here, nobody's life is in danger. You're talking accusations, and yes, I have to assess the situation. I have to understand it. I have to explain it to the owner. I have to explain the options. We have to make a decision on how to handle it. Do we enforce the contracts and make this person responsible for the obligations per the contracts they signed, or do we just let them walk away scot-free, even though we know that this is a bullshit claim? And it just really, the perspective of how insignificant that is was really obvious and apparent to me last night. And that's one thing that I have a lot of difficulty with, because I am a person of principle. My life is based on a code of ethics, a code of honor, this idea of nobility. And when I see that being disrespected, abused, misused, misinterpreted, it bothers me. And it bothers me to the point where I want to fight about it. And this morning I was thinking about all of this stuff, and I was thinking about writing my book, because I've really kind of come full circle within the last year, because it was a year ago in October that we went to Hawaii. I met Patrick Snow. I decided I'm going to hire him. I'm going to write this book that I've been talking about writing for years and years and years, and I'm going to make this happen. And I've been working on it for the last year. I'm nowhere near as far along as I thought I would, but I'm a good third, maybe more than that, through the book. But one of my chapters is picking your battles, and it's one of the last ones. And when I was thinking of chapter titles and topics last year, that was an important one. And it was a very similar circumstance to this that we went through, and we fought it out, and we ended up losing, which was, again, that was a bullshit judgment, and the owner should have taken that to the next level in court, because it was wrong. We all knew it was wrong, but it happened, and it was a very aggravating experience, and I've been having flashbacks of that this year. But again, when it came time to creating topics for book chapter titles, picking your battles was one. And that really kind of hit home this morning, and I was like, you know what, that's what this comes down to. It's picking those battles and understanding that. And I really feel like I'm in touch with more of myself now, my full, true, who I am as a source, as an individual. And that was reassuring to me this morning, because all of this, everything that I'm talking about, and all the circumstances that have kind of come about in the world and in my personal life in the last week, have all kind of come together to create this moment for me. And it's a good moment, because I really am embracing who I am, and that's not just what I consider to be the positive side, but it's the dark side as well. And I talk about it on occasion, the balance between light and dark, and who we all are as individuals, and what the extremes could be for an individual. And I really love who I am, where I come from a source standpoint, and my purpose here. And I can't always say that. As a matter of fact, I know a week ago I was feeling like I was absolutely lost and had completely detached from any purpose, any source, anything that could possibly be good, and was just like, I'm ready to be done. And it was a week, 7 days ago that I was like that, and have this complete turnaround. And I started thinking about cycles and ups and downs, and the darkest before the dawn kind of a concept and cliche. And it seems to me that in my cycles, I'm not going to go there. I have things to do, and that's too much. I would be here all day talking about that for another time then. So, but I really wanted to talk through this. I really wanted this recording because I've had a strange contrast of stimulus in the last couple of days, and I could have chosen at any point to take it badly. I could have reacted poorly, and don't know that this is better, but I feel better. So it's good for me. I feel good. I feel good about where I'm at. And I say that on occasion, and there's days where I don't, like last week. And but I do. I feel whole right now, which is the best thing. I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. I feel like everything is in perspective that fits me as who I am, and I keep reverting back to that. I keep thinking about this writing and speaking career. I keep thinking about this restaurant startup and property management and all of these different things that are factors in my life, and how my perspective of each of those aspects affects who I am. And part of my downslide last week, part of my feeling of disconnect and feeling of exhaustion and wanting to be done was directly related to this perception that I had built myself in a cell. I'd basically confined myself in a cell and was not able to do freely what I wanted to do, and that I had set too many limitations, I had set too many expectations, and I was obligated to see them through due to some, again, kind of warped, twisted sense of honor that, all right, well, I set my mind to do this and I'm going to do this way. And what I had been coming to find out was the way that I had picked was not working. It wasn't working out the way I wanted it to, and that's trial and error. That's life. That's part of what we do as human beings, is have an idea of what we want and how to get there, and we start to pursue that, make that approach, and it doesn't always work out the way you planned, and you can't force yourself to buck the tide to try and do it in the way that you originally thought. There's definitely ways to do everything that I've ever wanted to do, and certain aspects of my personality have attached value to the ways that I approach those things, and if I do it to a certain level of difficulty, it has more value. And again, it's all perceived, it's all illusion. It's something that I often get lost in, which is why the name of my book is called Mastering Your Illusions, Surviving Perspective and Perception. And I'm really, over the last couple of days, getting a whole new depth of understanding of how that perception and perspective can affect our lives. And I'm personally living through it in hopes that I can maybe help somebody else down the road get through some of those issues themselves. I'm watching this guy mow his lawn, and he'll mow about 3 feet and then he'll stop. and take a break, and then he'll fire up the mower again, and he'll mow another few feet, and then now he's walking down the street to talk to somebody else. Anyway, easily distracted. So I have things to do, and but that's where I'm at. You know, this again, kind of full circle back onto this book, and what it means and what it's been for me to relate these ideas and these topics to anybody else that is interested.